I'm Scott Kroll. I'm from Chicago. I presently live on the north side, but I am originally a south sider. Well, there's always that thing you can't go home. I mean, it's sort of trite to say that, but I don't know. It's like I used to have a lot of fondness for the south side, but like, you leave somewhere and then it changes and you go back and you're like, this isn't my home anymore. I have a older sister who's 10 years older than me, and then older brother who's 7 years older than me. Actually, the comics that he really got into, he would bring home stuff all the time, but the one that made the most impression on me was a company called Aircell, which is a Canadian company, and they did a book called Stark Future. And people out there who know Stark Future, it's pretty bad. But like, it was science fiction and it was cool. So I think that was one of the first sort of like independent comics that I had seen with Stark Future. I actually was a member of the science fiction book club when I was a kid. Yeah, and again, another thing, my mom was like totally like laid back about like, I want to join this book club that's going to cost me tons of money, like, yeah, whatever. And then like we got all this money. Douglas Adams, obviously. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I was really into that. And Terry Pratchett as well, who was sort of like the fantasy version of Douglas Adams, where he read a very similar style. Oh, and Philip K. Dick. I should say, if there's a single person who I've read the most of, it's him. But of course, he has so much stuff. Like, I've barely scratched the surface. I have a very wide range. I listen to the Sade album a lot. And that's the song on there I always think about, when am I going to make a living? I posted that on Twitter, I think, for you. I'm a big Neil Young fan, so I listen to Decade a lot. Neil Young. Actually, I picked this up. This is actually pretty good.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, and it's actually, the art's on it is pretty great, and it's got a lot of the stills. So sometimes I listen to a little bit of like...
Great, just classical music collection.
Yeah, it's pretty good, yeah. And actually, I won't listen to this as much, but I don't think you know about this about me yet. I'm a big fan of Chicago polka. I grew up in a Polish neighborhood, so like I have like a lot of polka albums.
Do you listen to it while you draw them?
I don't listen to polka when I draw. I do actually. I will sometimes listen to my Art Van Dam records, but that's more like jazz with accordion. It's just nice when I'm sitting here, just have the record going, and then I could like, flip it, come back. I don't know. There's just something about it. Sometimes I listen to podcasts. I like to listen to Ink Studs or whatever, or actually, Max got me into Minecraft, so I sometimes watch it. There's a vlog called Farlands or Bust, where this guy's like walking in Minecraft, till he gets to the end of the world. It's just weird. It's just like soothing. I don't know, it just depends on what I'm in the mood for. Oh, well, it's every time's been a little bit different. And I think that's because I always try to do different things, because I want to try everything. Like, I want to try every way to do things. I started out in the microns, which I think a lot of people do, and a lot of people love them. I sort of, and then I tried, like, I heard cartoonists use dip pens, and I did dip pens for a while, and I kind of got sick of that. And then I kind of went back and forth with the brush. I really liked the brush, and when I was a miniature painter, I bought a lot of very expensive brushes, so I still have those. And actually, what I like to do, here's an example. Hopefully this will come out. This is for the story I'm working on for Speculative Relationships. I have this pile of scrap paper next to my desk where people have like misprinted things and they just leave it at the printer. And they're like, well, or there'll be like a stack of paper in the recycling bin. So I have a stack of like documents that were printed. And I'll just like sketch stuff while I'm like, on my lunch break or whatever. And then sometimes also, I don't know if I have any in here, I'll sometimes go on the internet and like find pictures that inspire me and like print them off, and I'll keep a file like this. And I've got, for everything I've ever done, I've got like a little file that says like the name, whatever I'm working on. And I like to thumbnail the entire piece, and then usually I'll go and I will write a script, and that's mainly because I'm a terrible speller. And I've done a lot of comics where people were like, you misspelled da-da-da. I'm like, oh man. So I do always type out a script. From then on, I'll go with the thumbnails and I'll go full size. And I work exclusively in blue pencil. Although sometimes if I'm having a hard time trying to decide how something's gonna work, I'll do blue pencil, but then I'll go like with a darker graphite over it, like a regular pencil. So I work in a law office. And one of the guys who works in the mailroom / storeroom / copy center has all these reams of this paper. And he's like, it's kind of dusty. He's like, do you want this paper? We just got to throw it out. And I was like, well, why? And he's like, well, he never told me. He's like, it was just done wrong. And I realized what it is. It's 11 by 17 paper, and it has the watermark for our firm on it. So if you hold it up to the light, you can see.
So every page you draw?
It has my firm's name on it. But they were going to throw it out. So I grabbed 2 reams of it, so I have 1,000 pages. I have 1,000 pages of this stuff.
So you got to fill all those with comics.
I do, and that's sort of the goal.